In this screencast, I'm going to explain how you should set up tax if you're based in the USA. And so this is the tax screen here at Configure Tax. So in the USA, typically your prices that you put on the website don't include tax, and you're going to add those the tax kind of at the checkout. So you want this one here, price include tax, to be set to no. And show total tax, you want that to be set to yes. And you're going to ignore the default tax rate for the moment and just click on Save Changes. And then we need to, actually in a minute we're going to set up advanced tax options. But before we do that, let's go to Configure Countries. You just want to check these settings. So firstly, there's an allowed checkbox for those countries that you're going to actually want to deliver to. You might, by default, I think it's everything, but there's probably a lot of countries you perhaps don't want to deliver to. So just make sure they're ticked correctly. And then scroll down to United States. And for this, we want to tick this final box here, which is for use regions. If it's not ticked already, you want to tick that, because that means we're going to be able to use the states to calculate tax. And in fact, we need to move the default away from the United States to the state that you're in. So let's say you're in Florida, you just want to tick both those there, and then you want to tick use regions for the United States. And then I'm just going to click on Save Changes at the bottom there. So as you can see, when we scroll down this list, we get to the USA. You can also select which state you want to deliver to as well. So if you're only shipping within your own state, you want to kind of deselect everything on the screen apart from the state that you're in there. So then the next thing we want, so it's really important. So our home state is Florida. Okay, so our home state is Florida. So the next thing you want to do is go to Configure Tax, and then you want to click here for Advanced Tax Options. And this shows a list of countries and, of course, states. If we scroll down to USA, you'll see the states as well, and the tax rate that is currently being charged. And in fact, if I click on back there, let's move the tax rate here from 20%. Let's change that to 0, because that's what everything's going to default to, and click on Save Changes. Then go into Advanced Tax. You'll see the tax for everything here is 0. So if we now scroll down to the USA, by default, so you'll notice there's different columns here, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And by default, all of your items are in Band A, unless you change them. If you've got different items where different tax rates are charged, then you can use the other bands for that. And in fact, if I go to Manage Items, click on an item, expand the Options section of the item properties on the right, you'll see that tax band is shown there, and this one in tax band A, as you would expect. So if I go back to Configure Tax, click here for Advanced Tax Options. So we know that all our items are in tax band A, and we're based in Florida. So currently we're going to charge 0% tax on the sales within Florida. So let's say that was 5%. If you charge 5% there, then it would add 5% on sales in Florida. And then, of course, you can set the tax rate for all the different states for tax band A as to how much you want to charge. And don't forget to click on the Save Changes button at the bottom. Once you've done that, when you actually want to get going with this, you want to switch on Advanced Tax functionality at the top. Just click there to do that. And the other thing I need to point out as well is if you go to Configure Shipping, if I edit a shipping method, these are also in tax bands too. So you want to say whether they include tax or not. If your shipping price doesn't include tax, untick that, and you can set that to be either an advanced tax band or a fixed shipping tax rate, depending on what tax you're supposed to be charging on your shipping. And obviously, if you're unsure about any of this, you need to speak to your kind of tax advisor who'll be able to clarify how much tax you should be charging. And so that's it really. So if we go back to Configure Tax, hopefully you can now see how you can charge different rates of tax for different states that you're selling to.